Kind of picked a windy and overcast day to do this project, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. I picked up some plants in my local nursery. Going to be planting some peppers today. Got a few different varieties and got one in there that I've never tried before, and we're going to experiment and hope it grows. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe now. But I want to show you, had a couple plants survive from last year, and actually this is their third season. And peppers really turned out great. Let's take a look at those real quick. Last 2 years, they weren't nearly that big. They came out huge this year, so that's just from a few months ago. And we're back. Now, like the title says, this is quick and dirty gardening. So, not going to be going through and doing perlite and adding in all the additives and making our own homemade mix. So just plain old Miracle Grow from the local box store. It works. And first you want to kind of get some soil down in there, get some moisture to it. This bag right here is kind of old, so I had a lot more moisture because it's from last year. And then we mixed in some fresher stuff that didn't need as much moisture. But gonna notice we're gonna speed things up a little here to kind of get things going, moving along. And right there we've got big birthday bell pepper. We got a couple of jalapeno plants. I can get it out there. There we go. And then here's a little peppercini. And then star of the show we're going to grow for the first time this year is going to be habanero. Little spoiler alert. I don't know if it's weather or what, but it did take a lot longer for those to start producing fruit than any of my other ones. Actually, when everything got hot enough to stop producing, those things started popping up. So I don't know if I need to, do something different, but maybe that's just the way they grow. And, you just scoop it out. Pretty basic, nothing complicated there if you're watching. And I went with the big pot for this one because I wanted to kind of get a bigger bushy one. So that is one thing you want to take in consideration is the size of your pot. If you're going with the container style is going to determine the size of your plant. So if you've got the smaller, 1 and 2 gallon pots, you're going to end up with a lot smaller plant. I experimented with that this year because I put one jalapeno in a big one and then the jalapeno in one of the smaller ones, and big size difference in plants and yield. But pepper sizes were comparable. And we're going to do pretty much the same process on each one of these. I came back later and got some of that diatomaceous earth and mixed it in with some of the very top soil to hopefully if there's any larvae or any other insects that are down there, it'll pierce those eggs or their very soft skin exoskeletons and kill them off. Battled hornworms like crazy this year with tomatoes. There was an ongoing battle of everything attacking those tomato plants possible, but right now for me, we're in mid-August of 2025. Not when this was filmed. This was filmed about 6 months prior, but they're still battling and surviving. So everything I planted on here has made it so far. Knock on wood. Big thing is I'm in North Texas, so the beginning you don't need to water every day when it's cooler, but and when it gets up, we get up into the high 90s, low hundreds. I recommend definitely watering your plants. Your peppers don't need it twice a day, but I'd get those peppers up to a point of once a day. I don't have any shade cloths, so if you can find kind of a more shaded area to rotate them to when it gets to those more extreme temperatures, they'll hold up better. I've just kind of got mine out in the open. The only shade they're getting is from the house in the morning. It's just the way things face. And here's our pepperoncinis. And I will tell you, some of these plants do not come out of their containers easily. Might experiment next year with pulling some seeds from any of these. Don't know if they'll work. If not, but I know I can overwinter them. I had 3 plants that survived initially, and one of them made it to the transferring and replanting stages. So one thing I've learned since is you're going to want to trim back to basically just stems, get all the leaves and everything off and dead stuff, and trim them down. And if you can, stick them in a little bit smaller pot. They won't require as much water to kind of go into kind of a dormant stage. So you can overwinter them that way, and put them in your garage or just somewhere that's going to be protected. I kept them inside, so they stayed in pretty stable temperatures. Just didn't water them as much as I probably could have. So just keep an eye on them. If the things look dry, give them a little water. But you don't want to water them too much because you don't want to kick them back in. So just, again, keeping that kind of dormant stage. And there's one of our jalapenos. And it did not want to come out. I was afraid I was going to break the thing off the base. And you kind of feel it starting to give. One thing you're also going to want to do with your pepper plants is you're going to want to stake them. So get a stick of some kind or a stake and give them some support. You can use string or twine, jute twine or whatever you want to kind of tie them to that. Don't tie them too tight. You don't choke them off as they grow. But just something to kind of help them their own weight once they start to produce. If they start producing fruit early, you can knock them over and you can actually break them off the base if you're not careful. Plus winds and everything else. So want to give them a little support. That'll help them grow up big and tall. And you're also going to keep them pretty well pruned down low. So if you've got any of the leaves that are touching soil or getting down there low, once it's started to hardening off is where it kind of looks. It's not green down the base. It's almost looks like it almost has like a bark on it, tree bark. So that's when it's hardened off, and you can start taking out those lower leaves because they're kind of parasitic and they just take resources away from your peppers. All right, so here's our last one going in. And this was the jalapeno I put in a smaller planter, and it did not grow nearly as large as the one that was in the 10-gallon. I think this is like maybe a 3-gallon planter. Not sure exactly, but it did not get, it maybe grew 5 times the size of that little starter as it is. So keep that in mind. All right, folks. Well, that's pretty much it for this. Went by a little faster than I thought. Well, if you stuck around this long, now it's time to pay the bills. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please share it. If you're not already a subscriber, please do so now. If you'd like to get some of those 10-gallon pots that we showed, check our links down below and get some from there. And look forward to seeing everybody in the next video. And thanks for watching.